Okay, I just woke up. I'm just going to make a video on this real quick. Okay, so when it talks about raising up a righteous seed unto me, it's not talking about having a ton of kids. It's talking about women who should marry righteous husbands. Now, I don't know if you know these statistics or not, but in 2009, there were 124 women for every 100 males in the church, which means 24 women out of 100 have to go out of the church and out of the covenants of God to find husbands so that they can have children. God doesn't want his elect daughters to have to go to the Gentiles to find husbands so that they can have children. He wants them to be able to choose righteous husbands from among the elect, even though there are fewer righteous men than there are women, and be able to share those husbands so that those children that come down into that family can come down to a righteous mother and father and not having the unequal yokes, basically. But because the church doesn't allow polygamy, and because so many people like yourself hate polygamy so much, you'll condemn those 24 extra women for every 100 males to have to go outside of the covenants and find unrighteous husbands to go and have their children with. God doesn't want those children to have to come into families that are going to be unequally yoked. The fact that people are flipping out and saying, well, it doesn't really mean this and it doesn't really mean that, or they try to make it make sense as far as, well, polygamy, you can have more children. Doesn't have anything to do with what the Lord is saying through the prophet Jacob. God doesn't want his elect daughters to go to unelect, unrighteous men and marry outside of the covenant that God has for his sons and daughters. And so, if there is a ratio of 4 women to 1 righteous man, then God will allow plural celestial marriage for those 4 women to be with 1 righteous man, rather than those 4 women for only 1 to be with the righteous man and the rest to have to go off to Gentiles and possibly have families that are born out of the covenant. God sanctions polygamy in the scriptures. He gives us instructions on how to live it and when to live it and how not to live it. And D&C section 132 may have been added to, but the fact of the matter is, in the Nauvoo Expositor, which was published June of 1844, William and Jane Law testified under oath in affidavit that Hiram presented to them section 132 in April of 1844. And the fact that the Nauvoo Expositor was published before the death of Joseph Smith and Hiram Smith shows that revelation was being presented before Joseph and Hiram died, and it wasn't something that Brigham Young just made up. However, in the 1870s, when William Law saw the revelation that Brigham had, he made a statement that the revelation that Hiram showed him, section 132, was a lot shorter. It was only like a couple of pages long. By the time Brigham got done with it, it was like 8 or 9 pages long. So yeah, he added things to it. But William and Jane Law were flipping out because they hated polygamy and they hated the very idea of it. And that was what the revelation was showing them, that Hiram presented to them. So throwing polygamy under the bus because you don't like it, because you don't understand it, you're basically saying that 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 God's a liar, or God doesn't know what he's talking about, or you're making all kinds of other stupid excuses up. Also, one other thing, in order for for somebody to receive their exaltation, a man must be sealed by the Holy Spirit of promise to a woman, and a woman must be sealed by the Holy Spirit of promise to the man. And only the elect qualify for exaltation. So a woman who has to go to a wicked man, whether or not he can go to the temple or he's out of the church, it does her no good. And because there are many more elect females than there are males, God allows plural celestial marriage. It's a fix. It's not what he wants. He wants an equal number of males to be elect, but guess what? There are more righteous females than males. And because of that, God will allow multiple women to be sealed to one man, to bring down children into a righteous family, but also for these higher blessings.